Hello everybody, I would like to present to your attention an excellent article from the former Foreign Minister of Lithuania, Gabrielus Landsbergis, and here it is. So, it is here. The Trump-Putin Pact already exists and we should act accordingly. There are some things we will never change with nice words or smart clothing. If you are worried about those things, you should understand where Trump's tactics came from Russia. So it was written yesterday and published yesterday. The fact that military assistance to Ukraine might have been cut before Zelensky's meeting with Trump in Oval Office and only later reconnected should serve as an example of the current mindset in Washington. I actually don't understand what he's talking about, but let's see. Trump is seeking alignment with Putin. Putin has asked for concessions, and concessions have been promised. We may not yet know the full extent of these promises, but we must be prepared for all of it. Ukraine's sovereignty, military support, security guarantees, and political future could all have already been handed over in exchange for the alignment Trump is pursuing. But since openly selling out to Putin is still politically unpalatable, the administration will use any means necessary to cover its tracks. As someone who grew up in the 1990s Lithuania, I remember all too well how the older kids from the nearby Russian school would wait for us on our way to class. If they have decided to beat you up, they would find a reason. It didn't matter what you did. If you happened to walk by, they would make it happen. It reminds me of an old Russian prison joke. A man asks another for a cigarette. The other says he doesn't have one. Do you have a light? No, I don't smoke. The first man signs, then punches him. Why? The beaten man asks. Because you are not wearing a hat. Почему без шапки? That's how it worked in the streets too. If you had a cigarette, they took it. If you had money, they took it. If you gave them nothing, they hit you just because. There was no right answer, because it was never about cigarettes or money or hats. It was about power. If you wanted to survive, you had to act accordingly. If you could fight, you fought. If you couldn't fight, you avoided their territory. If you couldn't avoid it, you make sure you were not alone. What you didn't do was think that carrying a hat, cigarettes or money would save you. That was the mistake of those who didn't understand the rules. They gave up everything and still got beaten, because the Russian thug stops only when challenged. And the same logic plays out not just on the streets, but in geopolitics. Sign the deal on your minerals. Okay, well, then we'll punch you because you didn't wear a suit. It's not about the minerals, or the elections, or any of it. It's about submission. That was true in 1939 when the Soviet Union signed a mutual assistance pact with Lithuania and stationed 20,000 troops in the country. A year later, the Soviets declared that there was an incident involving a few Soviet soldiers. This incident was used as a pretext for an ultimatum. The Soviets demanded the resignation of Lithuania government and the handover of the chief of intelligence and the minister of interior. Lithuania was given 48 hours to comply. But even as Lithuania's foreign minister was receiving the ultimatum, Soviet troops were already advancing towards Lithuania. By the time the deadline expired, the occupation was a fait accompli. We didn't know then that it had all been agreed in advance in the secret Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Today, we have no excuse for such naivety. It is safe bet that the Trump-Putin Pact already exists, and we should act accordingly. So, that's the article. And quite a lot of people, what is happening today, where they will compare it with Munich of 1938, but it all has it looks more like the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact of 1939. So because it is like Trump and Putin already decided, they had plenty of time to coordinate, to plan. There were trips from Orban to Moscow, then to Mar-a-Lago. There were talks between, for example, Musk and Trump and Putin. Then we don't know how often Putin was speaking with Trump before elections, during elections, after the elections when he was president-elect, because he was very, very vague about this. And why should we even trust anything Trump says? Because every time when he is opening his mouth to say something about Ukraine, the only words that are not lies are, for example, to and on or something like this. Just the these service words. Also, for example, we knew that Witkov was given an audience with Putin for 3.5 hours when he was in Moscow in beginning of February. So this all was already agreed upon, and Trump is acting accordingly. Also, I don't remember. Maybe it was Waltz, the national security advisor, who said that this stopping of aid and sharing of intelligence data with Ukraine was all a big concession to Russia. So if it was a big concession, it means that it was asked from America, from United States, to make such a concession, and they obliged to them. And then Narishkin, who was the head of one of the intelligence branches of Russian government, he said that Trump has made some promises. As an honest man, he has to fulfill these promises. And it is very. And then he started to threatening Trump, saying that America is famous for the presidents being killed, for assassination of the presidents, something like this. So, I mean, I don't know why he's doing what he's doing. If he is an agent Krasnov, or maybe he's just have a very affinity for Putin. He seems him as a kindred spirit or something like this, as soulmate. I don't know, but what he's doing, he's giving Putin everything. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and till next time. Slava Ukraini!